welcome to my channel. My name's Angela and this is Devon Thread Tales. Thanks so much for joining me today. Any of you that have followed me for a little while will realise I have had a few months now where I haven't done any videos, and I can only apologise for that. I've had a really hectic time recently. Over the summer holidays I've had lots going on with children home from university and working and just lots of bits and bobs that I've had to deal with, so I've not been in the best place to be able to get a video to you guys. Kind of lost my sewing mojo for a little while, which is a bit annoying, but it's back and I've got lots of things to share with you. I have got a lot, so I'm going to try and whiz through them as quickly as possible because I don't want the video to drag on for too long for you. But I just want to say, obviously, this is sewing that I've done from over July and August and a little bit of September. So I'll crack straight on with it and show you what I've made. So I have a Tilly the Buttons Nora to show you. This was something that I made for my daughter. Now, I've seen quite a few of these on Instagram and YouTube with various people that have made them, and I really liked it, but I've held off from buying this pattern because I just didn't think there was a pattern that would suit me and was something that I would really like to wear, and so I just sort of thought, yeah, it's a bit too boxy and a bit too baggy for me. Then my daughter bought a jumper, very, very similar style to the Sewing Nora, and she absolutely loved it and wanted to have something similar to it but in a different colour. So I downloaded the pattern and made it up. And I'm really pleased with it and I really, really like it. And now that she's got it and I've seen it, I'm like, maybe I would quite like that pattern for myself. So I think I will probably end up making something, making one for myself. So the Tilly the Buttons Nora, is a very relaxed style, very easy to make jumper. It has normally a stepped hem, but my daughter didn't want that. She just wanted it to be straight all the way around. So that's what I've done. I've just literally cut it to the same length, front and back. And it's different from other jumpers and things that I've made before because instead of it having a cuff or a hemband, the material is just actually folded up on itself, and then a row of stitching put in whatever method that you use. I've used a zigzag stitch, and just to create the cuff. Now that means that it doesn't sort of come in and gather or have a tighter feel around the wrist or around the hem as it would if it had an actual inset cuff or hem. So it has a much, much more relaxed sort of style to it. It was incredibly easy to make. The instructions, as always with Tilly and the Buttons, are fabulous. And I used a material that I bought from Fabricland, and it was very inexpensive. It's a jersey material. It's sort of quite woolly and yeah, it's really nice actually, but it's also not very thick. So although it's sort of warm and cozy, it's not really thick and bulky. So I'll pop a little video of her in wearing it and crack on with the next item. Now you see it's quite baggy and loose, but it's got quite a cropped look to it. So the next thing that I have to show you is again for my daughter, and this time it's a Sew Over It Edie top. Now the Edie top is from the Sew Over It's Work to Weekend ebook, and there's some lovely patterns in there. Unfortunately, I don't think I've made anything but the Edie top, but I've made the Edie top a couple of times before. It's one of the easiest jersey patterns that I've ever had to make because it is literally a front and a back and two sleeves. There's no neckband, there's no hemband, there's no cuffs or anything like that. The neckband is done by ironing on a interfacing or a chain stitch interfacing and folding it over and then stitching it, and it's not even stitched in a zigzag or anything like that. It is literally a straight line stitch. I'm guessing because this doesn't have any pull on it when you're putting it on and off, so it doesn't need that ease. But again, this was from material from Fabricland in Bristol. It's quite bright and cheery. My daughter really liked it. She chose it, and I don't think there's really much more to say about this one, so I'll pop a video of her in wearing this one. This is Amy in the Edie top that I made from the fabric from Fabricland. Expertly modelled. Thank you, Amy. So the next thing I have to show you is actually for myself. Yay! And this time I have made quite a basic t-shirt, and I've used the Doe Givre pattern. I've made the Doe Givre before in a dress. It comes as a dress which you can have with a contrasting top section with the sleeves sort of at the top of the sleeves and the top, across the top of the bodice is in one fabric, and then you put a different fabric on the bottom. And I really love this pattern. I particularly liked it because I liked the contrasting style, but once I'd made it, I realised that it was quite a nice fit on me. So I decided to make a t-shirt. Now you might recognise this material. It's a navy blue material with gold printed pineapples on it. Now I've made a dress before in this, an AK patterns or Athena Cuckoo patterns Susie dress, and I had quite a lot of material left over, and I wanted to make myself a t-shirt that wasn't just a normal plain t-shirt that I've got in my cupboard. So I've made this. I haven't made any alterations to the pattern. I've just literally made it up, but not adding the sleeves on, really. That's the only thing that I haven't done. So I'll stand up and show you this. Hopefully you'll be able to see it okay from there. So it, like you can see, it's quite a nice fit. It's got a nice shape to it. It's got a really nice length to it. I quite like the length of the sleeves and the style of the sleeves. It's not particularly tight. It is actually quite a nice, comfortable fit. I really like the Tilly and the Buttons Agnes t-shirt top, which I have only made that, I think, for myself in a long sleeve, and that's got a much lower scoop, and I really like that, but this is a bit different, so it's nice to have an alternative. And I think I probably will end up making myself this as a t-shirt again in a different fabric. So that was one make for me. So another make that I've got is a Tilly and the Buttons Agnes, as we were talking about that, and I made it out of this material. Now I made a Tilly and the Buttons Frankie tee using some of this fabric before for one of my daughters, and she wanted to have the Agnes top made up but with the gathered sleeves, or not gathered, ruched sleeves. And I wasn't really sure about it, if I'm absolutely honest. I've seen lots of people wearing ruched sleeve tops and dresses and things, and I quite like them. And they always suit people and look lovely. And I've been into shops before to try them on, and I just don't think they suit me, or I feel a bit uncomfortable, or I feel like I feel very wide in them. So I decided to sort of talk to her about it and say, "Are you sure you really want it, you know, with the ruched sleeves?" And she was quite adamant, as teenagers are, and I made it all up, and she didn't like it. So she was very polite about it. Thankfully, my youngest daughter said that she quite liked it, so she's worn it a few times and she seems to quite like it. It really suits her, and I've got a little video of her wearing it, so I'll pop that in to show you. So this is Ellen in her Agnes top with the ruched sleeves, and I think she's pretty pleased with it. Are you? I have a couple of other things that I want to show you, but unfortunately I don't have the items with me. The first one is just very simply a Tilly and the Buttons Bibi skirt. Now the Bibi skirt is in her stretch book, and my daughter needed a school skirt, and I had some black Pontoroma, and I literally whizzed up the skirt. I'm not going to go on about it because I don't have it here, but I will just pop a video of her wearing it just before she was about to go to school. So the next item that I want to show you, and again, unfortunately I don't have it with me, it's because it was for my eldest daughter and she's now gone back to uni, so she's taken it with her. She wanted a nightshirt of some sort, and I was having a little rifle through my patterns, and I found the, I keep having a mind block on this pattern, but it's the Kalle shirt. Closet Case Patterns, that's the one. And I thought, oh, that would be really good. So we went to our local haberdashery and we bought this viscose, and it's really nice and soft. It's just a viscose. There's nothing really to say about it, but it's nice and soft and comfortable and light, so perfect really for a nightshirt. Now I decided to make the long version of it, and the longer dress version you hem it by using bias binding. Now I've hemmed things before using bias binding and I've never had any problem, but for some reason I just really struggled and I couldn't do this. But I managed to finish it all off, and then she put it on and it was just ridiculously long. I mean, it just looked really silly on her. She's not the tallest of girls, which I'm sure she'll be upset with me saying, but she's not that tall, and I think this pattern was obviously made for somebody a bit taller. And I think if it was being worn as a dress and she wore that with a belt or something, that would be fine. But obviously it was just as a nightshirt, and it looked a little bit like she had her mum's nightshirt on. And I thought, I can't face doing that bias binding again. So I just measured up however many inches I wanted to take off. I think it was about 3 inches in the end. And I just cut it, and then ironed it up once, ironed it up a second time, and went round and hemmed it that way. It's a really nice shirt. I don't have a video of her, but I have some photos, so I'll pop those in. So the next thing that I have to share with you, I've been so excited about making, and I'm really, really pleased with how these have turned out. But I have a little bit of a sticking point with them as well, but I'll talk you through them and then tell me what you think. I really have had my eye on the closet case Carolyn or Caroline, I'm not quite sure how you say it now, pajamas. And I've seen lots of versions of these online. Amanda, I Sew a Lot, has made a couple of versions of these, and as you know, I've probably said before, I quite like what she makes. She made some gorgeous ones. And I went to a shop with a friend, and we were having a little material shop, and I bought this material because I love this colour, and it's a sort of a light cotton batik. I'll come up a bit closer so you can see it. So it's just got a very inoffensive sort of floral design, but all within the same colours. Now I decided to go with the shorts version with the short sleeves, and I wanted to pipe it, and I absolutely love them. Couple of things that I've made mistakes on, but again, I'll talk through those in a moment. So I'll stand up and show you what they look like, and I will write in the comments below what sizes I did the top and the bottom, because I did them in different sizes. I can't unfortunately think off the top of my head what I did, which sizes they were, but I will find that out and I'll write it in for you. So I don't know if I'm in the right position here to show you. So yeah, so there's the shorts. They have pockets in them and just an elasticated waistband. They are incredibly comfortable. I decided to go with covered buttons, which I'll try and show you. I don't know if you can see that. I had a look at lots of different buttons and tried to match them up, and I just couldn't find anything that I really liked at all. So the covered buttons was a really easy and good option. I bought a cover button sort of kit, I suppose it would be called, from my local haberdashery, and they're really easy to use. You just get a circle of fabric, stitch around it, pop the cover button section inside that material, pull it all tight, and then put a backing on it, and it just works really well. And I think it, you know, blends in really, really nicely. So a couple of things with these. First of all, it has, if I can stand up on my tiptoes far enough, you probably can't see it, but on the shorts there is a fake fly here. It doesn't open or anything, it is literally stitching, but it has the flap on the inside, and it's totally and utterly useless, and it was a lot of hassle for something you can't actually even see and you don't use. So next time I make these, which I will definitely be making them again, I will omit that completely. I'll just cut it off and sew it up like it's a normal pair of shorts. The next thing is, unfortunately, stupidly, obviously I was having a bit of a moment, and I have put the buttons and the buttonholes the wrong way round. So I've actually made it like a man's shirt rather than for a woman's shirt. But nobody's going to see that but me, so it's fine. It doesn't really matter. I'll just really remember that next time, because it's really weird doing it up the wrong way round. I didn't realise how different it would feel, but it really does feel different. And the other thing, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, because I love this colour so much, but because I put the piping on it, I think it looks a little bit like a nurse's outfit. maybe. And if anybody is a nurse and you're very offended at that because it doesn't look like a nurse's outfit, then I'm really sorry. But I don't know, I think it's just the colours. It just makes me think of a nurse's outfit. So I need to maybe go with something a bit more floral or brighter, or, well, actually this is quite bright, isn't it? But anyway, something a bit different next time, because my husband, even the other night when I popped them on, said, "Oh, you on duty tonight, are you?" So I'm like, yeah, okay, they do look a little bit like that. But I don't know, what do you think? Do you think they look like that? I'll get changed and show you my next item. So I have two things to show you that are the same. I'm part of the Minerva Bloggers Network, and I chose a material and decided to make a skirt out of it. And the skirt that I chose to make was the Sewaholic Hollyburn skirt. Now, I've seen loads and loads of versions of these over on Instagram, and I absolutely love them. I've had my eye on this for quite some time. Bought the pattern a long time ago and just never got around to making it. When I got my material from Minerva, I decided to make it at first in a different fabric just to test out the pattern and the sizing. And I'd had this material from material girl Nora that I had intended to make a blouse out of. And when it came, unfortunately, it was a bit stiffer than what I thought it was going to be, which was fine, but it just wasn't appropriate for what I wanted to make. So it sort of sat in my stash for a while. And then when I decided to make this skirt, I thought that actually would be perfect. It's quite different for me because it's, I would make things normally very, very dark, and this is very pale. And it's a really fun fabric. So I'll show you up close what the material is first of all. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's little ladies in swimming costumes riding around on penny farthings, or is that what they're called? Penny farthings? I think that's what it is. And it's just such a lovely material. It's so perfect for this skirt. It's a cotton poplin, so it has, it's nice and light, but it has a little bit of a stiffness to it so that it gives structure to the skirt. Now I'm going to step back and try and show you. It's quite difficult because of where I am, but hopefully you'll be able to see it. So it has pockets. It comes with 3 different lengths. I decided to go with the middle length, which is just below my knee, and it has a lap zip, but I decided to go with an invisible zip. And I'm just really pleased with how this has turned out. I wore this to work with a, not a strappy top, but a little black top with sleeves that was more appropriate for work, and some high heels, and it just looked really smart, and I was really, really pleased with it. And it's just a bit different, isn't it? Which is the beauty of being able to sew things. You can choose fabric which is a little bit unique and different. What I will say about this pattern is it is super, super, super easy. It is a beginner's pattern, and it truly is a beginner's pattern. I just whizzed through it really easily. A couple of things that I did ever so slightly different to what was in the pattern. I actually finished my edges off on my material before I put it together, instead of doing it at the end. And I also joined my side seams together and finished them off together rather than separately and opening them up. What else did I do that was different? Oh, I did obviously the invisible zip instead of the lap zip. But other than that, I did everything as the pattern said, and it's just lovely. I think I would like to try this in the shorter version next summer. Obviously there's no point really doing it now, and I think I would really like to do this length again, but in a heavier, thicker, almost wool type material, because I think again with that structure it would look really nice and it gives a really nice shape. So this is my first version of it, the one with the little bikes on it, and I don't know if I can possibly get a bit of a better frame. I'll try and pull out one of my chairs and stand on it and see if that's better. Can you see? There you go. You can see the whole skirt now. So you see what I mean? It just has a very slight sort of structure to it, but it's just a lovely, nice and easy skirt to wear. So I'll change and pop the other one on, and probably clamber up on my chair again and show you that one. So this is now the Hollyburn skirt again, but in the fabric from Minerva Crafts. Now the bike material that I showed you, which I was wearing a moment ago, like I said, is a cotton poplin. So it kind of has a slight, it's much softer than an ordinary cotton, but it's not quite as soft as a cotton lawn. And the material I got from Minerva is a cotton lawn. So I'll pop some pictures up as well, because I went and had some fun with a friend of mine and took some photos of this skirt for the blog. So I'll pop those in as well. But this material is much more, well, it's much lighter, softer, and more fluid then, if you like. It's a bit louder and brighter. I think because it's darker, I would definitely wear this with tights and boots in the winter, with maybe a roll neck top or a top like this and a cardigan. Again, I'll try and stand up to show you. I like the fact that using the different materials gives it different sort of feel to it. This is much softer and swishier, but the other one had that structure to it, which I really liked. Again, I did the mid-length on it, and I put the invisible zip in. I love the fact that it's got pockets. Who doesn't like a pocket? And it's just really lovely, and the material is fun and bright. It's a Lady McElroy, and I think I'm going to get a lot of wear out of it, if I'm absolutely honest. But I definitely think I'm going to make this skirt again. As I said before, I just love it, and it's so easy. Once you've got the pattern cut out, it just whizzes up in no time. So hopefully that blog will be out on Minerva blog roughly in the new year. So if you're interested in that, keep an eye out for that. Now I will get changed. I only have one more thing to show you, which you'll be pleased to know, and then I'll leave you lovely people in peace. So this is the last thing that I have to show you. This is the New Look 6446. Now again, this is another pattern that I'd had my eye on for quite some time, but I again wasn't sure about whether it would be something that would suit me. It's a jumpsuit, and I've not really worn a jumpsuit before. It's just not something that I really normally go for, but I love seeing other people in it, and I'd seen this pattern in particular and really loved it. And then Karen from Sew.Little.Time made it up, and it just looked gorgeous on her. If you haven't seen her, go and have a look at her YouTube channel and her Instagram. She's Sew.Little.Time. I'll try and put a link in below to her channel or her Instagram account. But she made this up. Now I messaged her and said, oh, you know, the sizing's all really strange, and we had a little bit of a chat about it. And I have to be honest, I've had a few problems and issues with the fitting on this. So I'll stand up and show you what it looks like, and then try and talk through it with you. So it is, now this was a toil, a wearable toil, and it is in a cotton, so it does crease very easily. I ironed this just before I started videoing, and as you can see where I've been sat down, it has creased quite a lot. It has very wide legs to it, which I'll try and show you. Ooh. And it's 3/4 length. Again, I'll stand up on the chair and show you. So again, a style that I'm not really used to. I'm really experimenting with fits of trousers and things like that at the moment. I think as I'm getting older, I'm not really old, but as I'm getting older, I feel less comfortable in tight fitting things all the time. And I think just having something a bit looser like this is really nice and really comfortable. So yeah, it's kind of secret pajamas-ish. Now the fit issues that I had with this, on any pattern, whether it's an independent pattern or one of the commercial ones, I really seem to have an issue with the bust, waist and hip ratio. The hip ratio, perhaps not quite so much, but definitely the waist and the bust ratio I have a real issue with. Because of the size of my bust, if I go with that, the waist size on that is just normally ridiculously tiny, and my waist will never be, I just don't know how it's possible for that bust size to be that waist size. So I knew if I made the correct size that was okay for the waist, that the bodice would have been massive, and I really couldn't decide what to do. Anyway, what I did in the end was I made the correct size for my bust, and then I adjusted all of the seam allowances for around the waist. but obviously remembering, because there is a join between the trouser section and the bodice, whatever you change on the seam allowances, you have to make sure you replicate that in the bottom section, because they need to join up, because there are darts here which then join with the pleats on the trousers. Obviously the side seam joins, and then the zip obviously all has to line up. So I played around with it quite a lot. Excuse me. One of the things that I also had a problem with is this section here. This is the bodice is all lined. I lined it, I don't know if you can see, let me try and turn it around, with just a black lining, and it's just cotton, it's not the silky stuff. And this here came across very, very wide. Now I'm fairly broad shouldered, but it meant that the straps came out here, so yeah, just didn't seem to work on me at all. So I very mathematically and scientifically put a thumb there, went right, I'll take it in about that much, and a thumb there, oh, I'll take it in about that much. Very technical. And I just brought the straps in a little bit. I don't feel like this is laying flat, but how it was before, it really was sort of bellowing out like this, so that was no good either. I think I probably could play around with it a little bit more and get it to fit more, but actually for the fact that it is a toil, and as you can see, like the straps coming down here a bit as well, I could possibly maybe raise it up a bit more, or maybe I've raised it up too much, it needs to come down. But generally I am quite pleased with it, and I like the style of it and the look of it. It does actually have a tie belt, which I did make, so it just sort of comes around here and ties up. But I've lost it. I don't know where it is. I've searched my house high and low. It's not in amongst my material, so I don't quite know. I don't quite know what I've done with that, but it looks okay without it, so it's fine. Now this pattern also comes with a short version, which I think would be lovely in the summer. It also comes with a short skirt and a longer skirt version. Now I did this as a toil because I thought that I'd like to wear this as something to go to a party that I'm going to soon. I'm going up to a party in, I think it's Leicester, but my sense of direction is really horrendous. But anyway, I'm going to go to the Paris event, which is like a sewing socialist event, and which is a Paris themed. And I'm going to be meeting Adele from Button and Pip, and I'm very excited about it. I kind of wanted to make something new, but I am desperately running out of time, so we'll have to see whether that's going to happen or not. But I've bought some other material which was much more expensive, so I wanted to get this absolutely right before I then messed with that fabric. And I quite like the idea of making this with very long legs, just extending the pattern down, making them full length. And it's in much swishier, fancier material, and something that's a bit different for me as well. So I'm hoping I can do that and share that with you in my next video. So yeah, generally really, really pleased with this. I think it is a nice style. It feels very relaxed. I feel like I have worn it out already before, and I wore it with a pair of heeled wedges and some nice jewellery, and wore it out to a birthday celebration, and I felt quite nice in it. But I also feel like I could just put some pumps and a denim jacket over the top, and it would work really well with that as well. So yeah, really, really pleased. Just some fit issues that I still need to play around with, but I'll let you know how I get on if I make the next one. So that's it from me. I will love you and leave you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sorry it's been so long since I've recorded a video. I'm hoping to put a plans video up in the next week or so, so have a look out for that. But otherwise, have a good week everybody, and take care. Bye.